going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. Ashley and I are in Breckenridge today, nice and early. Kind of look tired, but it's because I am tired.
I look great.
We're gonna be ski boarding today, and Ashley has never really ski boarded outside of the East Coast. We've never really skied outside of the East Coast.
Never done anything outside of the East Coast.
So today, I'm gonna be teaching her how to ski. We got her hooked up with all new gear: jacket, pants, goggles, helmet, gloves, pants, everything. And I'm also going to be trying something new today. The nice people at Insta360 sent me a 360 degree camera. Let me pop this out of the housing and show you guys what we're working with. This thing is pretty cool. I'm completely new to this, so this is going to be sort of a review while we teach Ashley how to ski. And also it's going to be a big learning curve for me because editing this footage it's different. So right here we have the Insta360 1R brain unit. This is like the brains of the camera. Has a little screen on the back, start and stop record button, power button, and then you have different camera modules for it. So they have a standard lens like any other action camera, but this right here, as you can tell, has two lenses on each side. You clip this together, now you have a 360 camera. I have an extended battery pack right here, which hopefully it lasts in the cold. I'm not sure because I've never used this before. But this clips on there, right like that. Power on. So we have a normal looking view here, but in reality this is going to be filming in 360. Bless you.
Sorry.
Going to be recording in 5.7K at 30 frames per second. I don't know if I'll mess with that much, but they do have a really good app that's integrated through both iOS and Android, so you can change all the settings, you can look at your footage, review it, you can pick out what you want the camera to be looking at, and it does so many cool things. So I'm going to pop this thing into this housing. I also got the active kit with it, so it comes with a bunch of different accessories, including this pole right here. So when I'm filming today, instead of having it propped up and facing you like you think a normal action camera would be, you actually film with it sort of flat away from you, and then the software gets rid of this pole. So this is going to be teaching Ashley how to ski board and also a little review of the Insta360 camera. It's already 9 o'clock. We got to go get her a lift ticket and we'll hit the slopes. Alright guys, we are out here now on the Insta360. If I edit correctly, you guys can see all around us without me actually moving at all. Hopefully the audio is okay, not sure, but we're gonna try to get Ashley down Peak 8 here without dying.
That's the goal.
I may not be able to film the first couple of runs, but once she gets the hang of it, then we'll get some more footage. Great. French fry. We're getting into the steep now, as you guys can tell. You ready for it?
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Alright, just be ahead of you a little bit. There you go. I'm really curious how this audio is as we're slashing through the snow. Ashley's got another day under her belt of learning how to skiboard. She's doing pretty well. She's actually riding my set of powder boards, which is not ideal for a situation like this. They're really wide, so it'd be easier to learn on a skinnier board. But hey, she's making it down. We'll go check in on her. How's it going? Big turn. And we're off on the gondola. 360 view in the gondola. Check out which cart number we're on. Can you guys see it? Help you out? Haha, nice. How was your day?
It was good.
You hate skateboarding, right?
I don't hate it, I just suck.
And you never want to do it again?
I just bought boots
Yeah,
and a helmet
yeah,
and goggles,
yeah,
jacket,
yeah,
pantaloons.
yeah.
We're doing it again, bro. My hip does hurt though.
So we're gonna head down to the van now and make our way back towards the Denver area. Ashley has a flight tomorrow and I am going north after that. I have a feeling this video is going to take probably 2 to 3 times longer to edit than my normal videos, but once we get back to the van and I start editing this, I'll roll in a few clips of my process. Alright guys, we are back from the mountain and I am jumping into the whole editing process. I already edited everything that you guys just saw, that way I could get a feel for their own proprietary editing software, but they do have plugins for different things like Adobe Premiere, and for me, I use Final Cut Pro. However, I decided to actually use the Insta360 app that is available for MacBooks. Before we get into how I actually edited all of this stuff though, let me just talk about my thoughts on the camera. First thing I noticed was that obviously the audio wasn't that great. There was a lot of wind noise. However, in a controlled environment like in the gondola, or if I just spoke up a little bit louder, maybe held the camera closer to me, I think the audio would pass for an action camera. For the most part, when I'm editing stuff with an action camera, I really don't use the audio anyway, so that's not a huge con from my perspective. And then there is the high dynamic range and going in and out of the shadows, bright sunlight all day, and I think the Insta360 1R did a pretty good job at this. I was filming in 5.7K because obviously I was using keyframes to sort of pan around the area that I was filming in, and I can punch in and zoom out and do the little tiny planet effect. And there's a lot of different cropping and zooming tools that you can use in this software, so that's why I chose to film in that higher resolution. Typically I'm just filming all of my videos in 1080 as of right now. So I think the footage is on par with a lot of other action cameras out there. However, since you're shooting in 360, you can see and capture way more. There's really no chance of missing any shots when it comes to filming in 360. Alright, so now we are in Insta360 Studio, and this is what the general timeline will look like. You actually edit individual clips. You're not dropping everything into a timeline, and I basically used this software just to start editing all of the 360 footage. So in this frame right here, you can see we're looking at 360 in total. However, I can punch in, zoom out, and do all sorts of other things. So first of all, over here on the left hand side, that's where I clicked and selected the video that I wanted. Now I can drag this back to the beginning, and once we get to probably about that point right there, I'm going to select this button right here, which is an in marker, and then I can go all the way to the end, figure out where I want the clip to stop, and then select the other side, which is an end marker. Now I will be editing in between those two parameters right there. Now this took me a while to realize, but the way you're editing in this software all relates to keyframes. And in layman's terms, what a keyframe is, basically it allows you to select a few frames and position the camera in the direction with the right tilt, pan, zoom in and out settings that you want for that particular frame. If you select multiple keyframes across a clip, it will then take the settings from the first frame and sort of transition it into the next keyframe. That way it keeps things relatively smooth. Now keep in mind, I didn't do any external smoothing or anything like that, so you did see the camera sort of jitter around throughout the video, but with more time spent doing this and just more care and effort put into it, you can definitely make things look pretty damn good. Alright, now when we are getting into actually editing the clip, we are going to click on this free capture button right up here at the top, and that'll sort of flatten the video out. That way you can see everything that's going on. As you can see down in the timeline here, I have those little dots above where the clip is, and those are all keyframes that I made for the video that you just saw. So I'm actually going to go through and select all of these. Luckily I can select them all at once, and then I'll click this button right here, which is for deleting keyframes. Now this clip is completely flat, and it just basically picks an angle for the camera to be at. So since I'm starting the clip here, what I'm going to do is actually click and drag, and I want to center myself in the video, so I will click the keyframe button right over here below where you're actually selecting the ratio for the clip. I of course am selecting 16:9 because that works for YouTube, and now I'm going to select the button right below it as a keyframe. Now once that keyframe is selected, on the left hand side over here you can actually see I can timestamp things, change the pan angle, tilt angle, the field of view. So field of view is one that I actually mess with for this. I can click out and zoom out, make it a little more fisheyed, and I can click and zoom in and make it a little bit tighter around me, and that's where that 5.7K resolution is coming into play. Now if I tap my space bar, I can let this video play a little bit. Right here it looks like I'm getting a little bit high in the frame, so I will actually reframe that a little bit just by dragging the clip around, create a new keyframe, and between the first keyframe and the second keyframe, it will actually auto pan the camera to that second keyframe that I have set. Now in this clip specifically, I was obviously sticking the camera between Ashley's legs, so if I let this play out, right here, as I can see her legs coming into the picture, I'm going to create a new keyframe, and now this is where I did that tiny planet effect. So once I created the new keyframe, I can click on these different effects over here. We have fisheye, we have tiny planet, which just looks insane, we have crystal ball, which I'll probably never use because it sort of crops things in, and then we have the standard flat. So for this one I'm going to select the tiny planet, and this is where I can actually start rotating the camera around to sort of position it a little bit differently. For that keyframe that looks fine, so I will hit play, create a new keyframe, and bring the actual globe more into the center. This is where things look really crazy with the lifts flying overhead and everything. And now I will continue doing this. Create a new keyframe there, move it a little bit, let it play out, pause again, center everything, keyframe, and now as it comes back through her legs, I will create another keyframe and flatten that clip back out, put me in the center, and then keyframe once again. As you can see there, keyframes should not be located at the same point. I actually have to let the clip play out a little bit before I create a new keyframe, and there we have it. Move it again, get us both in frame, keyframe. Move it again, going through my legs now, keyframe, play, position, keyframe, tiny planet, play, reposition, keyframe, and so on and so forth. This process, if you're new to editing, seems pretty daunting, which it is. I'm actually editing this 360 footage, and then I'm going through and dropping everything into Final Cut. And that obviously is how I finish all my videos. So now with that selection right there, let's actually go back to the beginning and watch this in full. I will click play. So here it's keyframed appropriately. It starts to zoom out and go into the tiny planet mode as I go through her legs. This just looks really crazy with people flying over top of us. Back through her legs, back to standard view. And again, repositioning everything. Back through my legs, tiny planet again. And that right there is the last keyframe that I have set. So say this is where I want the clip to stop. I will come over here and actually shorten that clip entirely. In the upper right hand side, I can click export and then save it to my desktop, take that file, drop it into Final Cut, and that's pretty much how I finished editing. So that is my extent of the knowledge of the 360 1R right now, and it did take a little while to get over that learning curve, but now that I know how to do things, I think there are a lot of really cool aspects that I can sort of throw this camera into. I will probably use this instead of a normal action camera from here on out, and once we get into some more hardcore skiing, tree skiing, backcountry, park stuff, I think there's going to be a ton of really cool things that I can do with it. So stay tuned for that on the channel throughout the rest of winter. I'm going to be skiboarding a lot, and I'm looking forward to learning with the Insta360 a little bit more. If you guys have any questions on this stuff, you can let me know in the comments down below, and I will try to answer anything. However, over on Insta360's website, they do have a lot of good videos and resources where you can ask questions. You can learn how to use their software. I didn't even get into the phone software yet, and that's a whole nother ball game. So there's a lot of learning to do, but I'm excited that I now have a 360 camera and I can create some of this weird tiny planet type of content. Hopefully you guys liked it. And again, thank you to Insta360 for sending out a camera for me to test out. I'm looking forward to using it some more. If you are new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you in the next one.